Hey everybody, what's going on? Did you know that the Toyota Corolla is the most popular car in the world? Last year, Toyota sold 223,000 Corollas in the US alone. And they've sold over 50 million Corollas globally since the car first launched in 1966.
But the Corolla, for all its popularity, has never really been known to the general public for more than being an affordable, dependable, and fairly boring car. Well, as of last week, you can scratch boring from the list, as Toyota has announced a new high-performance model of the Corolla. The new GR Corolla features a manual 6-speed transmission, an advanced all-wheel drive system, and a turbocharged 3-cylinder engine making 300 horsepower. If you're a car enthusiast, these are all exciting features. For comparison, the current model Corolla, which sports a 4-cylinder engine, only makes up to 170 horsepower. As you might imagine from those specs, it's a pretty significant departure from what came before. The car itself looks pretty wild too. Toyota calls the GR Corolla a genuine Toyota sports car. Can a 4-door hatchback like the Corolla really be called a sports car? Let's take a closer look at some of the details of the GR Corolla and find out. Of course, the first thing we have to talk about is the performance. It begins with a 1.6-liter turbocharged 3-cylinder motor brought over from its sibling, the GR Yaris. And it's been tuned to make an impressive 300 horsepower and 273 pound-feet of torque. The GR Corolla will only be available with a 6-speed manual transmission. That's some pretty serious performance cred right there. Let's take a look at an updated Mopower table to see how the GR Corolla stacks up against the competition. One of the obvious cars to compare it against would be the Honda Civic Type R. It makes about the same amount of power, but weighs about 165 pounds less than the Corolla. So the Civic takes the win in terms of straight-line speed and power, although these numbers don't quite tell the full story. You see, the Civic Type R is front-wheel drive, so the GR Corolla with its GR4 all-wheel drive system might have a better drag launch that could balance that out. Motor Trend gave a conservative estimate of 5.5 seconds 0 to 60 time for the GR Corolla, but we will have to see what real-world testing tells us. I believe they'll actually perform better than that. But as you can see from this table, the GR Corolla is no slouch when compared to other similar cars like the current Subaru WRX STI model or the Volkswagen Golf R, which both make about the same power. These two might be more comparable since they are also all-wheel drive, but they do have an extra 100 to 200 pounds of weight to carry. There's also the Hyundai Veloster N, which makes only 275 horsepower, but still delivers pretty fast performance for the money. It'll definitely be interesting when journalists and car reviews get the chance to do a drag race between these cars. Something to think about. The current BRZ and GR86 have a lower power-to-weight ratio than the GR Corolla, and those put down a 5.4 second 0 to 60 time when tested by Car and Driver. And all of the other all-wheel drive cars I've mentioned are even quicker than that in the 0 to 60 sprint. So I have every reason to believe that when Car and Driver gets their hands on a GR Corolla to test, the acceleration is going to be even more brisk, baby. The king of the castle, or at least of the hot hatches, might be the Volkswagen Golf R though, which rips off a 0 to 60 of 3.9 seconds. The Corolla hatch was a pretty handsome looking car in its current form, but the GR Corolla takes the aggression up a notch, or 2 notches. The features that really stand out to me are of course the wider flared fenders, the aggressive front grille, and the functional vents on the sides. And then there's a distinctive 3-tip exhaust, which honestly looks a little weird to me that the middle tip is differently shaped than the other two. Why not make them all look the same shape? The Circuit Edition package brings even more pizzazz to the car, especially the forged carbon fiber roof panel, a larger rear spoiler, and the bulged vented front hood. If I were to buy one, that's the trim I would get. Might as well go all out if you're going to be splurging on the hottest, baddest Corolla ever made. That's also the only way to get the GR Corolla in the heavy metal paint color, which looks like the best color to me. The other choices of black, white, or red are kind of boring. Inside the car, I think there's nothing too special going on, other than the unique GR-designed gauge cluster, which looks like it's going to have a pretty cool-looking horizontal tack when you put it in sport or race mode. We saw a similar feature for the tack in the GR86, but it looks to be even slicker looking in the GR Corolla. I have to admit, I wasn't too excited when I first heard about the GR Corolla being a thing. I thought, oh nice, a more powerful Corolla and all-wheel drive system, but will it actually handle well? How can Toyota even call a Corolla a sports car? When I think of an all-wheel drive car, I think of terminal understeer, not the tail-happy slidey boy that the GR86 or other front-engine rear-wheel drive cars are. But then I learned that their new GR4 all-wheel drive system gives drivers a choice of 60-40, 50-50, or 30-70 power distribution to the front and rear wheels. So yes, you can actually drive it like a rear-wheel drive car. In fact, Toyota seemed to make a point of having their two GR Corollas come sliding onto the stage at their launch event, driven by well-known Toyota drifters Ken Gushi and Ryan Twerk. So that made me sit up and take notice. The GR Corolla is going to come with the highly regarded Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires, and 235 width tires on 18-inch wheels means it will have plenty of grip. Pretty interesting that the GR Corolla will come from the factory with wider tires than the GR86, which only sports 215 width tires, and the Pilot Sport 4 tires that only come on the premium trim. Can the new GR Corolla outhandle a GR86, even though it will weigh quite a bit more? I think we'll have to wait and see, but it looks really promising. And another feature that will make GR86 owners jealous, the larger 4-piston brake calipers in front and 2-piston brakes in the back that are significantly larger than the ones on the GR86. Man, they better offer a Circuit Edition GR86 in the next few years. That's what I'm waiting for. So here's something interesting worth noting. Toyota is calling this a genuine Toyota sports car. And while at first glance I took issue with them calling a Corolla a sports car, that genuine Toyota statement really gave me pause. You have to remember that Toyota's other two current sports cars, GR86 and GR Supra, are not actually built by Toyota. They're made by manufacturing partners. The GR86 is made by Subaru at their Gunma plant, and the GR Supra is built in Europe by BMW. So for everyone who criticized Toyota for not building a sports car of their own, instead outsourcing their performance cars to other brands, this is a direct response to you. This one's designed and made by Toyota in their own factory in Japan. So you really can't say anything about this one. No easy way to dismiss it as not a true Toyota. Is it a sports car? Well, I'm kind of old school in my thinking, where I find it a bit of a stretch to call anything with 4 doors and a hatchback a real sports car. Sure, you might find a rare exception, like an RX-8, or maybe some people think that the other rally-inspired cars like the Mitsubishi Evo or Subaru STI are considered sports cars. I think the conventional take is to call this a hot hatch instead. But you know what? This GR Corolla shows so much promise based on the specs alone that I think I'm willing to give it the benefit of the doubt. If it drives and handles like a sports car, then maybe it's earned the right to be called one, even if it has 4 doors, back seats, and a hatch. I have to be honest for a moment here. As a BRZ or GR86 owner, I think some of us might be a little jealous of a car like the GR Corolla. It's like the newborn baby sibling that just arrived, and you might be a little resentful that it's getting all the attention. And it has so much potential. In some ways, it's what we wished the GR86 could have been. What if the GR Corolla turns out to be a sports car with more power, better handling, and it's a true purebred Toyota, something which neither the 86 or the Supra can claim? That turns the whole Toyota sports car world upside down. So this is the one big letdown at the GR Corolla's launch event last week. They didn't give us a price yet. The GR Yaris should give us a ballpark to go off of, In Europe, it sells for the equivalent of about $37,000 to $40,000 US. I'd expect the GR Corolla to cost just a little bit more. After all, you're getting a bigger car with a more powerful version of the same engine and 2 more doors. It wouldn't surprise me if the Circuit Edition of the GR Corolla would set you back around $43,000 or more. Let's not forget that with supply and demand being what it is, and greedy dealerships being what they are, we'll probably see some ridiculous markups on the price of a new GR Corolla as well. Are you all ready to see a $60,000 Corolla sitting on the showroom floor? Can't wait to see it. They said to expect the GR Corolla to start deliveries this fall, so we're guessing around September or October of 2022. So, is the GR Corolla worth getting? It really depends on what that pricing looks like when Toyota announces it, but if it sits around $40,000, I think it's going to sell like hotcakes. That's competitive to the Honda Civic Type R and the soon-to-be discontinued Subaru STI. And for that money, you're getting a lot of performance. But if it starts to creep up to around $45,000, you might want to be cross-shopping it against the Volkswagen Golf R, which could be significantly quicker with sub 4-second 0 to 60s. I'd be excited if I was looking for a new car, and maybe would have put a deposit down on one. By the way, if you want one, you should probably contact your local Toyota dealer ASAP. Some dealerships are already taking deposits and putting people on a wait list, so if you wanted one this year and aren't willing to pay high markups over MSRP, it might already be too late. The Circuit Edition is the one I'd get, but that won't be available until 2023, so it's going to be interesting to see how dealerships handle that, given that people are already on the wait list for a 2022 car, but some of them will obviously prefer to wait for the Circuit Edition that comes out later. If you're on the wait list for a GR Corolla, but you want the Circuit Edition, let me know in the comments if your dealer has told you anything about how they're going to handle that.
Alright, thanks for watching everyone. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave comments if you agree or disagree with what I've had to say about the GR Corolla. I'd love to hear what you think. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and take care.